There's a book out, I can't remember it is, but it shows you Masonic hand gestures of the politicians and the people who are in the Illuminati who talk with their hands and tell you, and they're making signs and symbols when they're doing certain things. They're talking to each other. Now, I don't remember the name, that's what I was saying. Bill Cosby is about to do a thing on fatherhood. Now, I'm all for what he said. But it's obviously that, who was here at my lecture when I showed that the incidence of domestic violence of women against men were near at par? They were virtually equal now. Here we are in 2000, what, 4.5, 5? And the incidence of domestic violence by women on women in gay relationships, lesbian relationships, has skyrocketed to levels greater than one on women, men against women. How come we don't hear about that? Huh? How come are we not listening to the fact that domestic violence, period, regardless of gender, violence, period. You see, he needs to get back in favor because he has to sell products with his new program. You watch, it's coming out. It's got to do with his book on fatherhood. And what do the news? The news love Cosby. You imagine? You can't get a black man, you can't get a big picture like this of a black man nowhere unless he's playing sports or the nigga got, he's on cuffs and he's doing a perp walk. Or he's on a wanted poster. But they got Bill Cosby. And what do they call him? What does white America call Bill Cosby? Favorite dad? Would they let that nigga take care of their children? Would they have let that nigga next to their white women? How did he become America's favorite dad? Because he's saying exactly what these people want. Now, I ain't racist. I'm just reporting the news. I can't be racist. Bill Cosby continues to deliver hard truths to the African American community. His message that blacks must pull themselves together by taking care of their children and taking personal responsibility is a powerful call to action against the pathologies that grip too many. You can even hear Jesse talking this shit. Now, the problem is reaction solution. Telling us the problem and then taking all measures to make sure that we have no solution is an outright attack. Now, this is just part one. I got to give you this. As if he hasn't made a buffoon of himself, we again continue to make ourselves buffoons. What do we got? Colin Powell dancing to YMCA in Asia.
And that was the day after he came back from Sudan.
After he came back from Sudan telling them, no, 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 no. Nigga dons a hat. And you can see he ain't got no rhythm. Look at him. He looked white. No rhythm. In Jakarta, Indonesia, he cuts a rug for his fellow diplomats. He plays the buffoon, the monkey, to the organ grinder behind him. America's top diplomat put on a hard hat, tucked a hammer in his belt, as if he did anything for the working man, and belted out a version of the village people, gay people, YMCA, yesterday to wrap up Asia's largest security meeting. Tradition dictates that the meeting end with a night of song and dance provided by the diplomats themselves. Powell was game, if not great, dancing alongside 5 other U.S. officials sporting their costumes from the 70s disco band, including the Indian. The Russian delegation, headed by Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, sang a version of the Beatles' Yellow Submarine as a woman waved the Russian flag, ran around the dinner tables. In 1997, Madeleine Albright, then Secretary of State, bowled over the ministers when she performed a musical skit dressed as Eva Peron. Fascist. The after-dinner show is an annual highlight of the Asian Regional Forum, a time for ministers to loosen up after discussing security issues. At least Powell wasn't as bad as Indian Foreign Minister Natwar Singh, who read a poem before his delegation burst into a song. I'm not worried, but the audience should be. Sumi said, should attend the dinner. Everybody was happy because everybody is getting ready to make money on security. That's the #1 money maker for the next 10 years. Get ready.
Right.
Now, it's interesting that we have this movie coming out and the Bourne Supremacy. Anybody seen Bourne Identity? Serious flick, right? What was his name? Jason Bourne. What does the name Jesus in Greek mean? Jason. Who does he do? He's a rogue. You don't know who he is. Now, another man. Do you remember Jason Bourne? The guy when he was going after the killer in the field? And he asked Jason, he said, you still get headaches? He said, I still do. He got a chip in his head. This guy supposedly think he's supposed to have done something, him and Denzel Washington. Now, let's see how deep they get into it. Because this is where Brian Wrong has been trying to tell black world, at least. We told Sharpton, we told Jesse Jackson, we sent materials to Wrangle, we sent it to everybody. Ed Bradley, 60 Minutes, we sent it to everybody, and everybody turned us down. The only person, the only one that put us up there was the City Sun.
Right.
And the City Sun closed down next year. But he fought them because his spirit was high, his spirit was strong. And we told him about putting magnets around his head to disrupt the frequencies. He said he would hear them saying shit like, okay, what are we going to tell them to say now? You know, they wouldn't turn off the mic. He's like, well, how do we fuck with him now? In his head. And he couldn't get it out. Just imagine, he couldn't sleep. Remember there was a guy named Mike Taibbi on Channel 4? Do you remember they supposedly had caught this black dude who was a serial killer? He killed 6 girls. And when they sat him down, Mike Taibbi did a 1-to-1 interview with him. And what did he say? The voices in my head told me to do this. Right there on NBC, they said that, and everybody said, well, this guy's insane. Throw him in the lockup, drug him. Now they're coming out as if, well, we're going to give you something really to think about now. Here's something brand new. Ain't it about time with all the mamby-pamby mothers out there ain't saying shit?
Right.
That we give this brother props. Just for what he said. I don't give a damn what he didn't say anything. He just said that. Why did you, Bush, knock the towers down? You think some of what we doing filtering out there? Just a little bit. He just said a little bit of it. Yonkers rapper Jadakiss is busting up the chart with a song. Why did Bush knock down the towers?
You know you mentioned Holly Berry and Denzel too in there.
No, I didn't.